What's up, YouTube? Today, apparently, Riot leaked another thing, and the Naafiri trailer came out way too soon for one of the regions, so they decided to release it sooner for all regions. So I already watched it. See, it was 10 hours ago. So I'm mainly going to be like kind of watch it again and kind of like dissect it a little bit. I'm no TV Skyen, but I think there's some cool details here that I want to point out. So obviously, Shurima and female voice, because we know that this is Naafiri talking. Also noticed how this person is not directly touching the dagger, because it is a darkened weapon, and making physical contact with the dagger will probably mean creating a connection to it and allowing Naafiri to take control. You can see the dogs. They kind of look like, I guess, jackals. But I don't think this is supposed to be like a specific breed or species. Naafiri wakes up, and you can see that the dogs went straight for the dagger. They did not went for the man. And I wonder if just like Valmar and just like Kain, if they were lured to the weapon. Kain heard voices, Valmar heard voices and had like visions of Varus. So maybe the dogs were lured by Naafiri to Naafiri. And now there's a cool effect here that multiple dogs are going to touch the weapon. You can see here that it's more than one being holding the weapon. So Naafiri, or the essence of Naafiri, is going to be split between all of these dogs. And that's basically what this trailer is about. You can see here glass shattering. This is basically Naafiri's mind being split between all the dogs. And there's a lot more imagery here. You can see like lots of hands and lots of paws here. Again, emphasizing that this is a being that was one being, just one being, becoming many beings, or having control of many minds. You can see here human hands. When you see human hands, this is probably associated with Naafiri, and the paws are obviously associated with the dogs. So we're going to see like a lot of mixture between human eyes and human hands with with dog eyes and dog paws in this video. A lot of very cool post-process effects in this video. Honestly, the parts with all the effects look better than the parts that are you just see the models without effects. You can see like all the pieces of Naafiri flying, and then we transition into the minds of the dogs, or at least imagery of the dogs, right? And you can see here all the eye of the dog almost coincides with the eye of Naafiri, at least this side of the dog's face, which is important because this side is what is where the dagger ends up in the end. See here more dogs, and now this eye is going to split again. I think this is supposed to represent how how Naafiri is, on Naafiri's mind, he's being split between all of these dogs. You see multiple eyes and multiple reflections of the blade. You can see more hands, more paws, this time just dog paws. And we get some void imagery here. Obviously, the Darking fought the void, and that's when they all started to become a bit traumatized, and eventually led to them, most of them, having PTSD. More paws. And you can see the hand. This is the hand of Naafiri. Naafiri is trying to break free from the dagger. That's ultimately something that all Darkin want, is to be free from their prison, right? And now we can see this might look like the sun, but this is actually the sun disk. And there's another shot that shows it better. Now, this war, I am not sure what this war is, but I believe this is probably the war of Icathia, right? I'm pretty sure this is either the Shurima side or the Icathia side fighting against. I mean, if it's Shurima, it's against Icathia and the Void. If it's Icathia, it's against the Shurimans. But I'm pretty sure that these fireballs are something that is mentioned in where Icathia once stood. See the hand again. I mean, this is a cool shot. This is most likely represents Naafiri, and you can see all the hands and all the mouths reaching for the same being. Again, lots of paws, lots of hands, all mixed together, and now the shards are going to start to form a mouth, and there's going to start to show eyes in the background. You can see here the sun disk. Obviously, the sun disk is what first gave is the source of power of the God Warriors, and the God Warriors eventually became the Dark King. Most of them, at least. And you can see the shards from the beginning are now forming the mouth. You can see multiple eyes in the background. Again, this used to be one being, and it's now being split between many bodies. See the mouth of the dog about to bite the blade, and then we see a statue of what I assume is Naafiri, or at least what Naafiri used to look like. Or it could also just represent the humanity or the mind of Naafiri being broken, right? Being split. And the mouth bites the dagger, and we see a hand. Again, the same hand that we've been seeing, a hand that is trying to reach for the dagger. I think we're going to see it better here. You can see the hand trying to reach the dagger. Unfortunately, this person is no longer, well, in a person body, in a humanoid body. I should also say that there are a lot of parallels between this video and Varus video, As We Fall. Obviously, these represent sort of the same thing. Like, this is As We Fall shows what happened to the mind of Valmor and Kai as they became Varus, while here we are seeing what is happening to the mind of Naafiri as she was split between all the dogs. And you can see here there's this area with pillars, and there's also a similar area here. While this area looks very much Ionian, this area seems to be more Shuriman. There's a couple threads on Twitter already with some interesting facts, and I will link them in the description. So, alright, let's continue. Some dogs. And here we start to see what probably is or used to be Naafiri. Like, you can see this very humanoid shadow, but then this shadow starts running on all fours, and all of a sudden it starts to become a dog shadow. And like right here, this is basically a dog. And I think this kind of represents Naafiri adapting to not having a humanoid body, right? Besides the fact that her mind is being split as well. You can see all the eyes of all the dogs. I think this is a very interesting twist, right? Again, in Varus, for example, we saw Valmar and Kai's mind being fused and well, essentially merging with Varus and becoming one. While here we are seeing the opposite. We are seeing Naafiri's mind being split, and I think that's a very, very interesting take on Darkin. You see, again, we can see a lot of breaking and becoming multiple pieces. A lot of imagery based on that. You can see like the blade literally shattered in multiple pieces. Again, representing how Naafiri's mind is being split. I'm not sure what this battlefield here could represent. It could be the aftermath of the Void War. Or it could just be more than Shurima. Okay, now this is going to be an interesting part. You can see all the dogs here have like blades on their heads, right? I believe each of these dogs actually wields like a shard of the blade. And you can see the main dog here, which is the main body of Naafiri, I guess you could say. And you can see this dog right here, boom, flying towards Naafiri. And what happens? A blade appears from its body, from Naafiri's main body. So when you see all these blades that Naafiri has, these blades are actually the other dogs, right? The dogs all merge into one. I think that's what this represents right here. You can see all of these blades are actually dogs. Obviously, there's the dog trying to bite the sun. Again, the sun is the source of power for the God Warriors. There's also probably some references to Norse mythology, with the dogs that devour the sun and the moon. We can see the dogs here looking at the sun, looking at the moon, maybe, unless it's just the sun stylized. And finally get the reveal of Naafiri. Again, the parts where it's more stylized look better, in my opinion. Here we have the sun disk first going up. You can see here it's going up, but then they invert the image and it's going down. And probably represents the downfall of Shurima, of the Empire, when the sun disk broke and Azir died for the first time. Again, the eye. Oh, now we see the opposite. Now we see the hands of Naafiri merging the eye again, probably regaining control, I guess. And we can see here that this area right here, I guess it's her left side of her face, is very much the dagger, right? It even has this little keychain here as well. And I don't know why they gave the dog eyelashes. I guess it's so that you know this is a female dog. But I mean, you can hear the voice, so... Oh, and you can see the blades that, again, are probably these dogs right here. Another dog shows up here, bites the screen, another one here too, nice. And then we get this splash that looks very much like a horror film, right? You can see the blade here with the keychain, right here. And yeah, that's it. That's Naafiri. As I said, on Twitter there's already some really great threads about Naafiri's trailer that I highly recommend, and I will be leaving them in the description. But yeah, this was Naafiri's trailer. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.